TO Blaze.
Hey there, this is T.O. bringing you another Kerbal Space Program video. I was playing my career mode the other day and I came across two contracts that I thought I should record. And those of you who have played KSP extensively would know or would have heard of the Jool 5 challenge or the Ultimate Jool 5 challenge or something by that name. It's, I believe, a challenge that was posted on Reddit some time ago, and there's different variations of the challenge, but basically you're supposed to use one craft to visit all of Jool's moons, all 5 of them, and Jool being the biggest planet in the Kerbal space in the Kerbal solar system. I guess the analog to Jupiter, and it's a significant challenge because landing on each of the moons poses its own unique challenge. One of the moons, for instance, has the same gravity roughly of Kerbin, but no atmosphere, so you can't use parachutes or drag to slow your craft down. You got to use fuel. Some of them are some of the moons are inclined, and so forth. So it's a unique challenge, very fun challenge. I've actually never completed the challenge myself, which is why I'm not naming this video the Ultimate Jool 5 or anything related to Jool 5. The challenge that I'm doing, it's for 2 contracts that I got on my career mode. You don't usually get 2 identical contracts. Well, I decided to take advantage of that, and I'll try to accomplish this. Basically, the contracts are to pass by, pass by each of the 5 moons, and Jool being the 6th part of the mission. Hence, the name is the Jool 6 and the Ultimate Jool 6 contracts. So the craft that you're seeing on the screen, it's not my typical design. It's got a lot of extra parts, a lot of junk, a lot of scrap and things. And it's because it's modeled after a ship from my favorite TV series, The Expanse. And the ship's name, as you can see at the top center, is Ike, a Spanish phrase. It means "and what," or like "so what." It's I guess, a taunt, a very cocky name for a ship. It's a belter who flies this ship in the series. It's a racing ship, and he uses it to slingshot around moons and planets in the system. And the reason I decided to build this ship for this contract is because that's basically what I'm going to try to do. I've never flown to the moons of Jupiter in one craft. I don't know how much delta V it's going to take, how efficient my craft needs to be. So I'm assuming I'm going to have to use some gravity assists, some gravity brakes, and so forth to get it done. So that's what made me think of the Ike in the first place. And I'll try to accomplish the contracts with this one ship. The rest of the craft, obviously those 3 large tanks, all the engines on the bottom, I'm taking some liberties because in Kerbal Space Program, you can't build ships in orbital shipyards. You got to build them on Kerbin. So everything below the Ike, I'm taking some liberties, building whatever I think is going to get me there. And there you go, launching my mission now. I will be using some time warp a lot. Again, I'm playing on career mode, so I don't want you guys to have to sit through all of my alarms and all the other things that I'll be doing. I tried to speed up the video just enough to get through the bulk of it without having to waste too much of your time. Unfortunately, the actual mission itself is going to take a while, and that's going to cause the video to be a little longer. But I chose to record the audio for the last bit as I recorded the video for it so that you could see me actually struggle through the mission. So here you see the last bit of my launch, and finally got the craft into orbit. Go ahead and ditch my fairing, and I really over-engineered this vehicle because again I don't know how much delta V it's going to take me to complete all the maneuvers that I'll need. So managed to get up to orbit with my first stage mostly still intact, a little bit less than half the fuel in that core stage. There you see making my maneuver. Maneuvers to Jool relatively easy because Jool is so huge, so massive. It's got a really big gravity well. As long as you get relatively close to it, you'll tend to get an easy maneuver, or a rendezvous rather. And then there you see me actually conducting the maneuver. Gonna use up the rest of the fuel in that core stage, and then start burning through the transfer stage with my big Rhino engine. There you see I've got my encounter. So I'll set a new maneuver point about halfway to Jool to zero in my first approach. I want to come in on the front of Jool, hopefully to do a gravity brake and maybe save myself some fuel. There you see my maneuver. So should be coming into Jool pretty soon, and I'll cut to my recorded audio for that bit. Well, I say pretty soon, but there you see the maneuver is actually 2 years away in game, so thank God for Time Warp, and thank God for Kerbal Alarm Clock, for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and speed up time. I'll do my best to explain my maneuvers as I go. I feel like this would be the only interesting way to watch this footage, because I'm not going to do a great job explaining gravity assists, so you get to watch me literally struggle with it as I try to figure out how to accomplish all of the maneuvers I need with the limited fuel that I've got. Oh, so there you saw Jool coming in. And I've got my first maneuver. This should be a gravity brake, if I'm not mistaken. I'm passing in front of Jool. So as I come behind it, it's going to want to pull me along with it, and that's going to be the braking that I need. I'm not going to be using any more alarm clocks, so I'll keep this all as one big cut. So a 10-second burn. I got 45 seconds to go. It's actually such a good gravity brake that I need to speed up a hair to hit Tylo. Let's see. Rather than hitting behind Tylo, I want to pass right in front of Tylo. That should perform yet another gravity brake. And Tylo has no atmosphere. I don't know if it has any high mountains, but 26,000 meters should be plenty high enough. So yep, there I'm coming on my node in 15 seconds, but that brake is, I'm sorry, that speed up is just to better position myself at Tylo. So a very small maneuver because I'm at periapsis, which is the most efficient place to do a maneuver. There's that big Rhino engine. It's also actually an efficient engine. Even though it looks massive, it's overkill for this craft. It is an efficient engine for its size. So let's see, 3, 2, 1. Let's feather it into. This is where you can actually turn off the maneuver and get it to 25. That's good. Okay, nice. So we've got our Jool encounter, obviously, which I don't know that counts towards the flyby Jool. We're gonna get Tylo next for the ultimate Jool 6 challenge, which is a very, very similar contract. The last thing is to put it in orbit of Jool. So as long as I end up in an orbit, I'll be good. So let's hit Tylo first. Next maneuver will be at periapsis at Tylo. And let's see. I'm assuming, I'll need to slow down, because if I don't, I'll shoot out and exit the sphere of influence of Jool, which I don't want. So let's see how much braking I'll need to do. 100 meters, 200 meters, 300. Okay, so I don't need to brake an awful lot. I just need to brake enough so that I maintain this long, crazy elliptical orbit. That should be fine enough. And usually when I get way out there, I select the next inner planet that I want to intersect. Let's just go that way. I know I saw some intersects happening, so I can do another adjustment here. I can wait until do another adjustment at the top of the orbit at apoapsis if I'd like. All right, so let's speed along. Let's go and hit Tylo. Pass right next to Tylo. Bye-bye, Jool. This must be Tylo, if I had to gander. I believe I'm actually moving in the opposite direction of the orbits of all these moons. So it didn't take me very long to reach Tylo, and we're moving away from each other. 5,400 meters per second. So we're blazing past each other. This is only a 15-second burn. Very efficient. So I haven't even ditched my Rhino engine. For the sake of realism for this ship, I'm sure I should do that, but I don't know if I'm going to need that extra 1,200 meters per second. So I'll leave that Rhino stage on a little while longer. But if you guys have watched the Expanse, the way these ships maneuver is pretty neat. These RCS thrusters that spins around really fast, and it looks cool. My ship doesn't look quite like it, but it looks close enough. I do need to ditch that Rhino stage so it looks like the show. I can probably go ahead and do my maneuver now. Yeah, I can't believe that's that. We're moving pretty fast across the surface. If I were to hit Tylo, I would imagine that would have been an impact record. Let's see. Well, so here's what I was saying. I know I've already got this long elliptical orbit, so let me cancel the maneuver. Let me see. Okay, that's a lathe encounter. I haven't hit lathe yet. Oh, what is it? Strange that it's doing that. I'm not in the atmosphere or anything like that. There is no atmosphere, so I don't understand why the physics are causing the encounter to move. I'm not accelerating or decelerating. I'm not changing my speed in either way, so that shouldn't be moving like that. So let's just warp to there. Okay, wait. Let's stop focusing on Tylo for a second. Okay, cool. So look, I'm gonna encounter lathe if I do nothing. So let's see. That's gonna be in 4 years. No, I don't want that. So with this long elliptical orbit, in theory, in 4 years, I would eventually, apparently, encounter lathe, but I can force it, obviously, much earlier than that. Okay, so that's this. 130 days. Nope, not good enough. 59 days. It's hard to tell if that's done on the first pass or not. That might be on the first pass. Let's see. That's 59 days from now. Okay, so that's a decent lathe encounter. Lathe being the innermost planet, I might as well, moon, might as well get out of the way. Next, I'll try to do Val, and then the last two, pull them out. So on this pass, why is it giving me 4 different? Oh, so if I do nothing, this purple orbit will turn into this. Oh, I'm sorry, this bluish orbit will turn into the purple one if I do nothing. If I do this maneuver, my orbit will become this orange color, and then after passing through lathe, it'll slow me down. So apparently I'm hitting lathe on the right side, the correct side of the moon to do an gravity break. Let me focus my view. Yep, well outside of the atmosphere. And I think I just will leave it like that. It's going to gravity break me a little. I get a free, a cheap encounter out of it. 250 meters per second to get a good lathe encounter. Let's do it. 11-second burn, another really small burn. I say that, it's because I'm using the Rhino engine still. So let's do it. I'm not even going to wait until I get down to 5 seconds, which usually you'd burn halfway through the burn timer from your node, but I don't even need to wait for that. Just do it from here. See all those encounters? That's over so many years that's how many different encounters I could have gotten, but this is going to be the earliest. 59 days from now. Okay, so that looks like, yeah, that would not be a gravity break, that'd be a gravity assist, the way the side of the planet I'm coming in. So if I keep, let's see, there we go, that's my gravity break. And I'll just go ahead and accept it, I think. All right. I'll add a maneuver there and warp to it. It's not going to give me my trajectory after leaving lathe, so let's just go on way out of my elliptical orbit. We're going to swing back around. We're halfway, yeah. Come coming back, and we'll pass by Lathe again, moving in the opposite direction of Lathe. So it just flies by. I'm moving at 4,600 meters per second difference, and I'm not even that close to the surface of Lathe, so I am booking it. All right, I can kill that maneuver node. Now it's going to give me my trajectory when I leave Lathe. So if I add a maneuver node and select Val, it'll be my next target. Let's see. See if I can. No. So Val's, if Val were on this side of Jool at the moment, I can maybe possibly force an encounter. But since that is not the case, I'll just go ahead and assume I will need to get back to the top of my crazy elliptical orbit and do another maneuver somewhere out there. So now that I've got Val selected, if I burn prograde, there we go. There's a Val encounter. Focus my view on Val. It's hard to gauge. In this current position, I'd be coming in. It looks like it would be a slight gravity assist, I think. Kind of coming behind. But that's at this point in the orbit. I'm actually going to be further here. It's hard to tell. I'm not good at gravity assists. So 24 meters per second. That is a tiny burn. Let's get it. Zoom past again. It's like, there we go. Back to my high elliptical orbit. All the moons zipping around Jool. Yeah, I'm still not even halfway. It's a slow, slow, slow elliptical orbit. Look how slow I'm traveling in relation to Jool. I think I can speed it up that extra bit if I am extra careful. I don't want to miss Val. Your craft gets faster as you get closer to the celestial body, so sometimes by the time you realize you're getting close and you lower your warp speed, you've missed the target. You've passed it by. Wait. I meant to do a maneuver up there. Here I'm narrating. I bet I can force it here. I've got so much fuel. Let's maybe finally ditch the Rhino. Okay. Focus view. Wait, I don't even need to focus the view. Do I? Just want to make sure I'm not going to hit it. Yep. All right. Well, use our RCS for something. All right. So it could have been a 24 meter per second burn. It's now a 300 plus meter per second. Not very efficient, but wasn't paying attention. All right. And there we have a Val. All right. So next is Bop and Pole. Bop being in a crazy inclination. So I guess I'll do Pole next, and then Bop last. Because I think if my orbit's going to be nice and big for Pole, it'll be cheaper for my inclination change. And you know, if I have all this fuel left in the final stage, that'll be great just to get home with. I wasn't really worried about getting home. Just gonna put this thing in orbit somewhere around one of these moons and use my local vehicles to get the Kerbal Dullin back home. All right, let's do a maneuver. Once again, pole about not on the right side of Jool for me to catch a maneuver straight away. So, might as well do what I've been doing and just warp to the top of my crazy elliptical orbit. Is that Val? Yes, yes, there she is. I get my, yep, got credit for flyby Val. Pole and Bop. You guys are next. Hello. I don't think Dylan gets credit for orbiting around these planets. I don't think a flyby counts. Maybe he gets flyby and it's a lower experience level gain for a flyby. But he would be my first Kerbinaut to see all of these moons, even though he's not orbiting them. Okay, so yeah, the descending node, ascending node is deceptive. We're moving in the opposite direction of the moons, so my inclination is really only 6 degrees off, or yeah, 6 degrees off. If you consider we're moving in the wrong direction. If I wanted to be moving in the right direction and match their orbits, then I'd have to expend a lot of fuel, burning 174 degrees. All right, I guess so. Go ahead and just warp out here then. Maybe before I'll do that. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize all this time I've been saying that the moon's on the wrong side of Jool, but I keep forgetting. They're not moving in the same direction as me. I bet you if I'd have done an inclination change right there, I'd be passing by Bop right now. Look at that. But I'm a dummy. Okay. Well, maybe I can force pole. Maybe not. Let's see. I don't mind being a little wasteful. Well, like I said, if I keep all my fuel, I can use it to get home. So, how shall I do it? How shall I do it? What's that gonna be? Tylo. Do I want another gravity break? No, I don't really hope. What was that? I don't care about those inner moons. I'm at a loss. Tempted to use a gravity assist from one of these moons to catch Bop or Tylo, or at least to raise my periapsis. Otherwise, I'm going to keep catching intersects with these inner moons. I don't want to keep doing that. Okay, so let's try to catch gravity assist then. That's a gravity break. Off of what, Val? Yeah. That's a gravity assist. And it's raising my periapsis. Yep. Which is what I want. And that's off of Tylo. Tylo's probably my best bet. Yeah, I'm nice and far from it. That's not a gravity assist. My maneuver is raising my periapsis for me. So, I'm not going to do a gravity assist. I'm an idiot. Oh, what was that? Sorry, I might have been blocking my mic. Okay, that works. I can dial it in. Don't need a gravity assist. Just gonna expend the fuel, raise my periapsis. And let's get to it. That node is in 20 days. I am currently here, moving to my apoapsis. Let's get it. Goodbye again. Let's see, we're at 20 minutes. I only got 2 moons left. 20 minutes in this clip, at least. This portion of the mission. I do play on career mode, so I made sure to keep my contracts at a minimum right now. I don't have any alarms going off. I don't have any other ships moving around. I've only got one other ship moving around out there, and it's a good half a year or more from its next maneuver. So all of this is nice and uninterrupted, which is not usually the case in career mode for me. Let's see. All right, I'm at my maneuver node. Let's get it. All those funky intercepts with other moons. Oh, and we finally burned out on that rhino. I'm going to leave some space junk. And that's how the ship is supposed to look. That's a real belter ship. Call it. Alright. And then we get to here. Much closer. I can dial it in. Wrong way. Let's get my closest approach back. You know, let me just warp there. So that's my camera's a little closer to the maneuver node and not as hard to see the closest approach. Well, we can do better than that. Then let's go even closer. Warp here. Okay. That'll work. Okay, yeah, I probably need to change my inclination a little. That's why. Get a little higher. Oh, nice. And that's gonna do it. Don't need to get too close. Don't get points. I don't get points for scratching the surface. What would make this slightly more interesting and fun and relevant to the Expanse is if I had a meter or some way to tell how many G-forces my pilot is seeing during these maneuvers. You know, passing by a planet, 5,400 meters per second difference. I imagine those gravity brakes or assists are gonna induce a pretty good G-force. Well, warp there. Yep. Where's she at? Should be over here. All right. Nope. Blink and you miss it. Little bitty pebble floating on the outer area of Jool's orbit. That is pole. All right. Last but not least. Pop. Set as target. All right, pop. I think I will better match the inclination. Again, we'll be 180 degrees away from each other, but at least we're on the same plane. 361 meter per second. Burn, not too bad. I'll have more than enough fuel to finish the contract, and hopefully we'll have enough to get home. Otherwise, we're going to park at the nearest orbital station and refuel, change vehicles, something. Don't know that I'll ever use this ship again. It was got a lot of dead weight, excess parts. Just doing it for the show of it. All right, let's change our inclination. Don't even have a good view. He's been staring at this metal beam the entire time in this tiny little pod. So yeah, this is the first time I've tried to do a mission like this. I technically haven't finished landing on all these moons. I've got 3 left. Been to Lathe, and I've been to Tylo. Probably Tylo being the hardest of all the moons, I would think. Val, if I understand correctly, is a similar, it's kind of an analog to the Mun. I think the gravity is not too bad. Pole and Bop, I believe their gravities are low. Obviously, Bop is inclined, but it didn't really take a whole lot of fuel to match the inclination. So I think Bop also has a really, really low gravity. Not as low, I think Pole has the lowest, which can actually make it tough for landing. So Bop is probably better for landing and refueling. And then Val would be the second best for landing and refueling within the system, if I had to guess. I've got a big orbital station. I'll probably do a video of that soon enough to give you guys a tour. Alright, let's get my maneuver. Where do I want it? I can probably do it anywhere. Although, out here would be the most efficient. But who cares about that? I guess I do. Slow down. Will we happen to get one? Yes, we'll get really close. And then I'll dial it in. Yeah. I don't know that this really counts as practice for gravity assists and brakes because I'm not too concerned about whether I slow down or speed up when I get to some of these. The only time I was really concerned about it was coming in to my first approach at Jool. I made sure I was coming in on the right side or the front side of the planet. And that second encounter with Tylo, I think it was Tylo, also tried to make sure that was a brake because I'm moving really fast. Ever since I've been in the system, not too worried about braking or assisting, especially since those other moons are smaller and the gravity's lower. The assists and the brakes are not as significant anyway. All right, that'll do. No inclinations to worry about. No inclination change. Let's do a maneuver way over here. Yes, that will do it. All right. I'm gonna leave that up on the screen. Fly by Bop. I'll complete the Jool 6 challenge first, and I'll complete the ultimate Jool 6 as soon as I get out of the sphere of influence of Bop. It should count me back as in orbit around Jool. All right, RCS, spin me around, please. Let's see, watch my encounter. I got it. Yep, got it. All right. So where would you be, Bob? Tiny, tiny rock. Oh, there it is. I think that's it. Yeah. Yep. There he is, Bob. I guess this would technically count as a small gravity brake. The smallest. Boom. Complete the challenges. Done. I believe that is 4 million credits for each challenge. So that's easily the highest value challenge I've ever completed. And pretty excited about it. So let me wrap up the video real quick. One thing I can show you, I was so uncertain of the design of this vehicle and how much extra weight I had added and how inefficient it would be that I didn't want to waste all the time in the game. For whatever reason, it bothers me when a year passes in the game. I'm already at year 66 from when I started. So to not waste all the time of this vessel getting here, I actually sent a second one. So let me see if I can spot it. Not only did I send that second one, but it got here first because that's just how it works sometimes when you leave Kerbin at a different time, at a different trajectory, and you're going this far away, it can make a huge difference. Let me just turn on all the vessels. Got some relays. Okay, there it is. Spotted it on the first try. There's my Jool 6 Challenger vessel. It doesn't have a Kerbinite in it. It's just got a remote guidance unit. It's got a probe core. And obviously, I won't say now because the missions have been completed. But I went and hit all but one of the moons with this vehicle just to make sure I could do it. And I still got an incredible amount of fuel because I made this vehicle way more efficient. A lot of liquid fuel tanks that decouple, that feed internal tanks. And I'm using the most energy efficient engine in the game, the atomic, the nerve, which only burns liquid fuel. So that's it for the mission. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, hit that like button, leave a comment, and I hope to see you guys next time.